Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geek Bits. Geek Bits, as most of you know, and for those who don't, is a novel initiative by the Learning and Department team here in Theatre Every India. Geek Bits, with Geek Bits, what we plan to do is, host a few webinars, a series of them, which can have our leaders and our exceptionally talented experts from Theatre Every to speak on various sectors and interesting tech-related updates, so that it can help in creating a seamless customer journey. To introduce today's speaker, we have Guruprasad Nagaraja. He's the enterprise architect in the with the REM unit from Every India. Along with his exceptionally long career in the IT, he has over 20 years of IT experience. He's also a very frequent contributor at popular forums in the supplychainbrain.com. So welcome, Guru Prasad, and over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mala. Thank you so much. That was a very heavy introduction. I'm not sure if I'll be able to live up to that, but thank you so much. And thank you all so much for joining. Can I take it over from here, Mala?
Yes, absolutely, Guru.
Sure. Thank you. Um, so, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining on a Friday afternoon. And first of all, I would like to thank our Learning and Development Department, especially Vibha Mishra. She's been instrumental in taking the Geek Bits, which we usually used to have within every to a higher platform where people from all parts of Theatre Every can actually tune in, register, and join. So all the kudos goes to her. I also want to thank JP, who is our VP for the business unit, who always encourages me to venture out and try out these different sessions and collaborate, communicate, and also have fun at the same time. So thanks to both of these people, and Mala and Sargam, thank you both as well for helping me in carrying out this event today. So we have about 71 registrants. The format of this conversation is going to be talking about how to illustrate customer journey maps and profile the customers. One clear distinction I want to make upfront before we start the session is um, this is not profiling the customers, your potential customers, and having a pre-sales initiative. This is not the intent. This is for purely the topic is for practitioners who are actually going on various digital transformation assignments, and they find themselves in different kinds of challenging situations where our customers, TA to every customers, are trying to do best, whatever it is, best that they can do for their customers, the end customers. So when you land in a situation like that for digital transformation, what are the things, what are the tools and technologies and techniques that you ought to use? So that is the spirit of this series. This is the second session of the series. The first one was about the architecture diagrams. I'll be soon sharing the PowerPoint presentation, but I just want to have these disclaimers up front so that we have a very smooth conversation going forward. So this is the second of its. The first one was about the architecture diagrams, the importance of the architecture diagrams, the tone and tenor of the architecture diagrams. What are the different types of diagrams that we ought to have on our poster so that everything becomes very easy. But in order to get there, in order to have a cooked meal of appetizers, main course, and desserts in the form of architecture diagrams, there's a lot of reverse engineering that we'll have to do by communicating with our customer stakeholders, the e-commerce department. I'm taking always the example of a retail industry. So people from other industry I'll request all of you to map it to your respective stakeholders. So in the retail industry, when we go into a digital transformation kind of exercise, we often find ourselves talking to the head of e-commerce, the head of supply chain, the head of HR, the head of finance, the head of warehouse and distribution. So there are a lot of different stakeholders on the ground who are very adept at their own fields and their own departments. But when it comes to the overall customer journey, that is where the visionaries of the organization typically have problems. And they always say that, hey, our customers, our end customers are not happy. There is a gap here, there's a gap there, and there is a big crevice right in the middle of the customer journey. I want you to come take a look and do what you can. So this is the context of our conversation today. The format is about, I think it's scheduled for an hour. We will see how far we will get there. And please think of questions, note it down, and post it on the chat. And I think Mala, I think, and Sargam, I think, will be regulating those questions to me towards the end. So we will aim for having a nice Q&A session, a conversation session towards the end. This is to on because we are on Teams, we are adhering to this format. Otherwise, we could have made it more conversational, and also because of the sheer number of participants, right? So the more the number, if multiple people are asking questions, it kind of becomes a logistical challenge. So I'll now be turning off my camera and turning on the presentation, and we'll go forward with the conversation. So as I mentioned, this is the second of its series. The first one was about architecture diagrams. This is about illustrating the customer journey maps and what are the merits of doing that, and how all of this will kind of culminate into technical capabilities, the gaps in the technical capabilities, which is actually causing the gaps in the customer journey. And then the next session that we are going to have, which is the third of its series, is about getting deeper into the customer journey, transposing the customer journey maps into actually process flow diagrams and understanding their as is process flows. And the moment you start plotting those, you will be able to understand the gaps, and you will be able to find ways to fill those gaps and also better the customer experience by bringing in latest greatest technical capabilities. So this is how I wanted to enable all of our teams here. And if they already are aware of these things, I would like to share this again with them, and then get to know what other tools and technologies, levers they are using in their day-to-day business as usual. So this is what we understood. We in our previous session we said business architecture, solution and deployment architectures are very important. We also talked about integration architecture. So this is what the end of digital transformation exercise will typically look like, where we have sorted out where we have an in-depth understanding of their business architecture, and because the way their business is set up, we are proposing new solution capabilities and showing how those things can be deployed and turned it into a tangible solution. Um, so when we are going about to a customer, it is very important to understand the setup of the customer even before you actually go and work on projects with the customer. So always have a top-down view, and this is my humble and honest message to all of our practitioners in TA to Every. Wherever you're working, you need to have a very crystal clear view of how their business is set up. It could be I'm Skip in the transportation and logistics domain. It could be Speed Cargo, who is a potential client, or it could be an e-commerce company that we are working for, like for example TTI. So how are they set up? How many distribution centers they have? How many stores they have? What are the different types of channels, online, offline, do they have? Do they have stores? How many stores do they have? What is their overall income? And when it comes to the overall income, what is the share of the store business versus the online business? In the online business, what is the share between the e-commerce and mobile? So this kind of know-how is very important in order to understand that business and to be able to start conversing. So which is why I have mocked up a brand.com. Brand.com has a turnover of $2.5 billion. It is present only in the USA at the moment. They have 2 warehouses, 5 distribution centers, 110 stores across the country, and they have plans to expand to Canada, Mexico, Brazil in by 2025. They've been having gaps in the online offline retail journey, and you as a practitioner have been summoned to identify those gaps, showcase the new journey, and recommend technical capabilities to fill those gaps. So this is the context of what we are trying to discuss today. Okay, so you're there, you have been given the cudgel of digital transformation and identifying those gaps in their online offline journey. And then you have to showcase the current gaps perhaps, and then the new journey, right? So the moment you put up a customer journey map, right, then everything kind of becomes transparent. It is either 0 or 1. You cannot have a stakeholder come into those meetings that you're going to have with your C-suits, showcasing the new and improved customer journey and telling that, oh, this capability is already there. Because it is very important for you to document your conversations into a customer journey, also walk into the store and do an online transaction, and be a potential customer for yourself, right, with that business, with brand.com, and go through that experience yourself in order to make a checklist of all the things that you're experiencing, what went well, what went wrong, and what are the stakeholders saying. So you'll have to tally all of these things. Sometimes some of these stakeholders are constantly changing, so they may not have all the information that they ought to have, right? When you go through the customer journey, all the gaps, they might not be aware. Sometimes there might be a new and improved technical capability that has gone live, and they might be, and you have just, it has just gone live on the day that you have landed, and they may not be fully aware, and they may not be even sharing that information with you, willingly or unwillingly, right? So it's always important for you as a practitioner to be extremely thorough in what you do. And before you can already start plotting the customer journey map, what is important is you have to think of a customer, your customer's customer, the end customer. What kind of customers are coming to do the business, right? Brand.com, another piece of information I wanted to share is they are a company that manufacture luggage, right? Different types of luggage for different types of customers who are traveling all the time. Right now that we are tolerating the pandemic, people have started to travel again. So that is where the whole context is. So here is one such customer. There is a Jane Doe. She's 32-year-old, and she's a regular shopper, and she's a new mom, and she is planning to take the newborn to her parents for a vacation. So um, this is one such customer. Now let us see how the online offline journey looks like with this brand.com with for Jane Doe, who is trying to plan a trip. So she'll have to constantly change the kid, and she's traveling. There might be a layover. So the kid might start crying. So she has to plan for the food that she's going to feed the kid. There is a lot of planning, and all of that has to be a cabin bag. It cannot be a checked-in bag because she will have the kid with her all the time, right? So this is the context, and you're trying to understand the potential customer. What are our potential needs? You're even mocking this up. You can even mock this up, right? And then you're saying, okay, let us look at how a journey will look like in the ideal world, right? So from the stage, so have taken an example in such a way that Jane Doe is not aware of brand.com. She becomes aware, she becomes interested, she engages in a purchase, she experiences the retail experience that the brand is putting up for her, and then whether or not she will follow up and become an advocate of the brand. So this is the sequence in which you will have to think about your customer journey, because every stage of becoming aware to becoming an advocate, it is there are different types of business and technical capabilities that are underpinning the customer journey. So if you don't think of it in these kinds of compartments, you might get overwhelmed with oh, what am I going to do, what am I going to recommend, how do I start, right? So it's always important to have a structure in place, and I hope that's what this customer journey illustration is going to provide. So let us quickly go through the customer journey for Jane Doe, right? So starting here, she is she hears about a new opening, right, on the local radio, And she is, as I said, she's always shopping on the Fifth Avenue. She's very posh. So she is walking across, right? She goes online to the I'm just finding my mouse here. She hears about the opening event of a travel store on Fifth Avenue. So she goes online to the brand's informative website to find out more, right? And you have a raffle. There is a raffle because it's a new brand that's opening on the Fifth Avenue. They are trying to do everything that they can do offline, online in order to attract the customer, right? So she registers for a raffle. She receives her first brand newsletter that details. So you're already thinking of many capabilities here, as you can see, right? There needs to be an informative website in place. There needs to be a provision to have raffle as a promotion on the website. And then she has to get a newsletter because she has registered her email slash telephone number. So can send the newsletter either on WhatsApp or on her email. So you have to think about WhatsApp integration. You have to think about integrating with an email server to send those emails, right? So I'm just trying to give you a sample of the underpinning business capabilities, ability to have a informative website, promotions in place, and sending emails and newsletters. So these are all the business capabilities. But integrating with an email server to have a newsletter in place that is periodically published, like we are doing for the REMBU, right? And have a website. So these are all the underpinning technical capabilities. So this is how there is always an undertone of business and technical capabilities in everything that we are going to discuss today. And I'll make it explicit when I go to the next customer journey as well. So she finally gets intrigued. So in particular, sees a travel bag with a child seat because she's trying to change her child, and there is a layover of couple of hours. Having a mobile seat to for the child to sit, and which will aid her changing process and feeding process, she's intrigued, right? So she finally enters the store. And I will be sending all of this material to all of you, and I think the session is being recorded as well, so you'll have this material for you to go through in a more detailed way. So here she sees the signage. There is a immersive experience in the store as well, because there is a coffee shop, the wide walkways. It doesn't seem like when you enter the store you're actually entering a warehouse, right? So these are all the things that the retailers are thinking. They're not just thinking about having a nice catalog and useful products. It is also about making sure the experience ties in with the theme, right? There are retailers like Abercrombie and Fitch. At one point they used to even have a particular scent for their stores, right? As you would walk around in high streets and downtowns, you would actually be able to smell the Abercrombie and Fitch store about 100 or 200 meters away. So you're already knowing that, okay, there is a Abercrombie and Fitch around the corner, and you will probably visit because it was so intriguing and strong. I think they have gotten rid of it now, but I'm just trying to say that all six senses that we have, right? Ears, eyes, nose, mouth, and skin. Retailers are always trying to cater to that. That is why if you go into luxury stores, they're always playing very slow music, because the moment you enter into a store that is playing slow music, you slow down, and the longer you linger, the higher the chances of you shopping. So there is a lot of science that goes on behind everything that happens in a retail store. And here she is intrigued by the layout, right? And a store associate is well mannered and welcomes her, and takes her to the section that has a bag with the child seat, right? She shows the demo of the product, more email, offers to send more email, etc. Right after she's very impressed, she researches on her phone and visits few other stores to see if anyone else carries a bag like that. She notices, so this is again product, price, place, and promotion, right? So they are checking, the brand.com is checking off on all of these things. um, and Yeah, she discusses with her spouse, and everybody finds it very interesting, right? This is a hunky dory kind of customer journey I'm taking you through. It's Friday afternoon. I didn't want to, squeeze in a lot of negative scenarios for all of you. So pardon me for that. So she's very convinced. Now she's in this section, she's trying to engage in a purchase, right? She decides to buy it, she checks it out, right? But the color she wants is temporarily out of stock. Okay, she could opt for another color or wait for an estimated 4 to 5 weeks. She shaves the cart, and the next day she gets a follow-up email from the brand again, saying that they could be actually throwing a tote, right? When you're having a check-in bag, I mean, when you're having a cabin bag with a child seat, the most consequent pairing for that is a tote, right? Where you can put emergency, immediate things into that, right? Um, so she adds the tote, and then she actually places the order online. She receives the order confirmation email, right? She chooses to pick from the store because she wants to go back to the store, and she receives after she decides to go to the Fifth Avenue store again and pick the item. Within an hour or so, she will get an email saying that the item is ready for her to pick up whenever she wants. So she walks into the store, and again she's welcomed by a familiar store associate, and she travels, and she finds it very convenient for her purchase. She finds a small gift of a travel bib and a discount coupon, right? So this is the way in which retailers in their customer journey try to lure the customer and seal the customer's loyalty for the next purchase. One is about throwing some discount for the next purchase. The other one is, because she's a new mom, she's interacted, the store associate had the ability to throw in a travel bib when she picked up as a gift to her, because the moment you have a travel bib, she doesn't have to change the t-shirts or the top wear of the kid every time she feeds her, or with milk or food or anything, because it doesn't, it spills on the bib, and she can just um, you know um, uh, put it in a bag and wash it later, right? So there's a complete thought out customer journey, right? On, and she faces again, puts it on Facebook, she tags the brand, and she even rates the brand, I think. So this is the whole customer journey from the time she actually discovered, she discusses with her spouse, comes up with an interesting comes across an interesting item, and then eventually makes the purchase. And then at the end of the purchase, it is always the brand has ensured that there is that ability. So now it may not be very apparent and obvious for all of you to each step of the way understand what are the business and the technical capabilities. So I will take you to another customer profile and another customer journey, who is very unlike Jane Doe, with a who is a new mom and going to her parents. This is a different customer, and we will see how we are profiling that customer and imagining a journey for that customer. So for every brand or everywhere you go, regardless of your industry, it could be a healthcare, and you can think of different kinds of patients and the technology and the transformation that you're bringing about for different kinds of patients, and what could be their journey, and what how can you make by virtue of recommending new business and technology capabilities, how can you make their life easier? The same thing applies to banking and finance. The same thing applies to any other paradigm of life, right? So always think about having this customer journey. Now this is the improved, the to be customer journey. So you can think that what could all have gone wrong. The store associate was not well mannered and trained. There could be a chance where they were not able to throw a raffle as a promotion on their website. There might not be an provision for the point of sale to receive the order in time for her to, after placing the order within an hour, she's getting a notification. If you don't have your supply chain in line, you will not be able to source the item, route the order, have the store associate pick and pack, and deliver it to the customer. What if it was a scenario where she had ordered two items, and the travel the bag was there, but the tote was missing in the store. So the store will have to order it from another location and bring it to Jane Doe, or offer her to receive it, to ship it to her home the next day itself. So there are a lot of different what if scenarios that you will come about, and that is where the retailers will start with a business, a great idea, a great supply chain, a great website. But unless you tie everything together, and now you add to that the mobile application, you add to that the social media selling platforms, and each platform is a different route, right? You can also add marketplaces, like they are trying to sell some items on Amazon, etc. So you will think of proliferating channels. There's so many different channels today to sell, and and therefore, consequently, you will have so many different delivery mechanism, curbside pickup. I am jogging in the morning in Cubbon Park. You come and deliver, tender coconut to me at that point in time. So people are becoming very exacting, and therefore, retailers and everybody who is doing business have to pick up to their pace and jog with them and deliver to them on the when they are dehydrated, right? So this is another customer. He is very savvy technically. He's 26-year-old. Unlike Jane Doe, he's a bachelor. He wants to go trekking, sailing, camping, and he is planning a trip to Kilimanjaro. I have no idea why he's planning to go to Kilimanjaro instead of just sitting in a coffee shop around the corner and sip a coffee. But he wants to go on a trip to Kilimanjaro, so I'm not stopping him. So here is the journey. I'm just flashing the whole thing up here so that the focus of this discussion now and the slide is not to go through the journey, but yes, briefly. But here the focus more is on, how do I say, understanding the underlying capabilities as to, because you might be thinking, right, why do I need this customer journey in such a great detail, and what is the big deal about this customer journey, right? There could be, and again, you may ask me, there are tens of customer types. So you will have to understand their customer segments and profile three or four key customer segment types to initially to begin with, because it covers about 90 to 95% of the new capabilities and transformation roadmaps that you are going to publish for them. So it's always you design for the majority and you handle the exceptional minority. So this is always the norm of any practitioner. You will never be able to solution for 100% of the customer. So you will have to think about the what ifs and the what nots and the cosmic alignment of everything going wrong as an exceptional handling scenario, aside from the majority of the digital transformation program, right? So here I'll quickly take you through and then we'll talk about the capabilities. He is again going to he sees through a paid promotion. So that's how he comes to know that there is such a thing as brand.com, right? He again goes through the website. He creates a wish list of all the things he wants and is missing for his trip to Kilimanjaro, right? He Here again, you see brands predictive analytics engine sends an experience and travel advice to Ahmed, right? So here they are not only relating to the customer on a product level, they are also relating to the customer basis the spirit of what they are having in their catalog, right? They have trekking bags, so they are relating to the trekkers. They're having a cabin bag with a baby seat, so they're relating to the new moms and dads. So they're having a conversation, they're having a social conversation on all of their digital platforms, which will aid in multiple ways. One, becoming aware of the brand, giving them tips, therefore drawing their attention to the catalog that they carry, and therefore increasing the sales. So everything is tied at the end of the day to increasing the sales and sealing the brand loyalty. But that's how it is, right? He's intrigued, right? He's by the depth of the research that's going on and all the recommendations. So he sees that they have a solar powered backpack, right? When it is only thousands of feet above the sea level, and you are between a mountain and the scorching sun, and you need to charge your electronic devices. So this actually makes sense for him. So he buys that, right? He receives a notification. Again, he's doing a in-store pickup, because we said that brand.com is having a challenge with online offline. When somebody is trying to cross over the digital and the physical, that is when they are having challenges. So he decides that. So he walks into the store, right? And uh, the store, again, the store colleague is engaging with Ahmed on upselling and cross selling, because she says there is also complementing elements that you can actually, if you have just your phone charged, what about headphones and USB charger, etc. Right? So she recommends that. He's intrigued. He wants a different color, right? He opts to receive. Now the delivery method is changing. He doesn't want to go to the store again, so he wants it to be delivered to his office, right? So um, uh, so he gets the delivery on time, right? And so he says that, okay, he initially he started creating a wish list because he was intrigued by the items. He bought a couple of items, and then somebody who is related to him will see the items that on his wish list for his trip to Kilimanjaro, and they opt to buy that and give it as a gift to Ahmad. So now let us see what are the different capabilities that underlie this, right? Social media integration, search engine optimization and search engine marketing, well written copyright, again, social media integration, timely churn and promotions for that customer at that time, not after he returns from the Kilimanjaro, you're throwing in a promotion, right? So the design of the e-commerce, right? Buy online, purchase in store. The kind of assortments you carry and the visual displays, the training for the personnel, inventory lookup, whether, see here what is happening when it is out of stock in the store, she's able to check where the item is it in another store or in the warehouse, and she has a, SOP, a standard operating procedure, that if it is available in the warehouse, you order from the warehouse. If it is available, not available in the warehouse, then only you prefer. So she's been instructed already, so she has it delivered, right? Accurate timelines. Here he's clearly being notified, right? The estimated delivery time and date is being notified to him. So you'll have to communicate that. Unless you have, again, your supply chain in place, and you know from this store it's going to take this long, from warehouse it's going to take this long, this it takes this much amount of time for the e-commerce to send the order down to the warehouse, and somebody from the warehouse to notice that order, pick the item, pack the item, and so much time is needed for somebody, the company's brand.com's internal fleet, the deliveries that are happening between stores and warehouses, for them to come and pick this order and actually deliver it on one of their itineraries, from day to day itineraries. So these are all the things that you should be actually thinking about when you're thinking here, right? So she phones his mother is not tech savvy, right? So she's calling the call center and placing the order and giving the payment details or entering the payment details. So the call center integration. So these are all the things that you should be actually thinking about. But is this just these bullet points? Is there any depth to this? That is what we will see in the next slide. So each and everything is an initiative in itself. If they don't have SEO, SEM, you'll have to talk to their digital marketing, start a roadmap for that. If you don't have good copyrights on their website, you will have to recommend hiring some copyrights. If the e-commerce browse to checkout journey involves hundreds of clicks, then you will have to recommend improvisation of the e-commerce platform. You will have to look at how long it takes the list page and the landing page and the add to cart page to render. And when you are doing it yourself, and recommend those improvements and performance enhancements to those. So it then becomes an initiative for our own Vishnu to carry forward, right? BOPUS, buy online, purchase in store. Are there well trained store associates in your flagship stores or key stores where there's highest amount of footfall? Inventory lookup. Is your point of sale integrated with the inventory master? Accurate timelines. Do you know the timelines, as I was telling you, time to pick up, time to route the order? Do you know the, as the order is making a hop, last year exactly around this time we did Geek Bits similarly about day in the life of an e-commerce order. right? So e-commerce order, once you place, it is hopping around so many different applications, so many different people are noticing it, and then there are so many manual actions that get done in order to move this order to your doorstep. So do you have the timelines for every stop of your order, and therefore you can actually provide an accurate time and date, right? And then integration with external applications like call center app, etc., right? So this is the underlying, this is why you need customer journey illustration. It's not just a hunky dory rosy map of a customer walks into a store and looks at things, he dislikes one, likes another, talks to the store associate, walks out a happy customer. No, it is not that. There's a lot of depth to this. Now we are going to zoom in on one of these capabilities and just discuss it a little bit more so that you all understand the importance of this, right? Again, I just gave the profile of the brand.com. Buy BOPUS means buy online, purchase in store. What does it actually expand to, right? The point number one, e-commerce should have the ability to use store as a delivery method. Point number one, it is a technical capability. Order orchestration platform has to recognize the store as the chosen delivery point, and out of 100 and 1100 stores, it has to route to that store which the customer has chosen online, right? So that information has to flow from e-commerce to order orchestration. The point of sale has to have the ability to receive that order and provide an alert to the store associate. Store associate should be physically trained as a part of standard operating procedure to look at the screen every 45 minutes and see what notifications they have, right? They have to have the ability to send an email or an SMS or a WhatsApp, either by point of sale back to order orchestration or point of sale back to e-commerce, and from e-commerce you are sending an email. It depends on how your retail setup is, right? And therefore you will set when the order is ready for customer to pick up, you have to send that. And you'll have to, again, when the customer comes and picks up, you have to change the order status to delivered, and you have to inform the e-commerce and the order orchestration. Store associate has to be trained to mark the order as no show, and this alert, if the customer doesn't come for the entire day, she should do some operation which will alert the call center. Call center will then have 2 or 3 calls to the customer, and if the customer doesn't answer, then the store associate will cancel the order and return the item back to the store shelf for somebody else walking into the store to buy. And because if it is already paid on e-commerce by the customer, then they have to initiate a refund to the customer. So you see, so a simple capability that we just saw in the previous one will result into so many integrations, so many processes to be in place, and so many applications to be able to talk to each other constantly, right? So how do we do that? How do we get there? So nothing to worry. We have next session. We started with the revision session on architecture diagrams. We are proposing, we are ending this conversation with a provision session on illustrating the process flow diagrams, which is going to be scheduled sometime this year, later this year. And we'll be actually talking through how the applications are going to talk, right? Here you saw in your previous diagram, you saw verticals, right? We are going to, in the customer journey, and we are going to transpose that vertical into horizontals in the next session and have each of these applications talking to each other and facilitating a single customer journey from the starting point when the customer walks into the store till the customer leaves the store. So we will be talking about all of this in the next session. So I request all of you to please watch for the notifications from our lovely ladies from marketing and learning and development departments, Mala and Sargam and Vibha, and look for those emails and register. So that's about it, everyone.